In the world of cinema, innovation often begins at unexpected crossroads, where seemingly disparate genres intersect and weave new narratives. Roger Corman's Little Shop of Horrors, a low-budget horror comedy film from 1960, inadvertently laid the groundwork for an entire subgenre within the horror community that would emerge more than a decade later. The Italian Cannibal Cycle, known for its graphic depictions of savagery and its unflinching approach to horror, surprisingly traces some of its thematic and stylistic roots back to Corman's cult classic. This exploration delves into the subtle yet significant influences that Little Shop of Horrors imparted on the Italian Cannibal Cycle, examining how elements of satire, societal critique, and low-budget innovation bridge the gap between the two. To fully appreciate the link, it is crucial to first understand the context and impact of Little Shop of Horrors. Directed by Corman and famously shot in just 2 days and 1 night, it followed the story of a hapless florist shopworker who cultivates a plant that feeds on human blood. The film was part of Corman's extensive oeuvre of low-budget productions, which were marked by their ability to maximize creativity under financial constraints. Despite its comedic overtones, Little Shop of Horrors introduced audiences to themes of human sacrifice, moral dilemmas, and the grotesque allure of the unknown, elements that would resonate in later horror films. One of the most profound influences of Corman's film on the Italian Cannibal Cycle is its utilization of satire to provide social commentary. Little Shop of Horrors cleverly critique consumerism and the voracious nature of ambition. The central character's willingness to indulge the plant's insatiable appetite for blood as a means to achieve personal success mirrored the darker extremes of capitalist ambition. This satirical undercurrent found a fertile ground in Italian horror, where filmmakers used the extreme scenarios of cannibal films as an avenue to explore the degradation of human values in the face of primal instincts. The cannibal films employed a similar method of exaggeration to reflect societal fears and moral decay, particularly in the wake of environmental degradation and the clash of modernity with indigenous cultures. Moreover, Corman's approach to horror as something that could be both thrilling and humorous found echo in the Italian cycle. The blending of horror with humor, albeit darker and more cynical in Italian cinema, started in Corman's work with the juxtaposition of plant-based terror and slapstick comedy. Italian filmmakers adopted this blend, recognizing that horror could be multifaceted, eliciting not only fear but also uncomfortable laughter. This is evident in films like Cannibal Holocaust and Eaten Alive, which, despite their grim content, present an absurdity in the portrayal of Westerners stumbling into the so-called uncivilized world. From a stylistic perspective, Corman's ability to produce on a shoestring budget inspired Italian filmmakers who often operated with limited resources. Little Shop of Horrors demonstrated that creativity could thrive under constraints, a lesson not lost on Italian directors such as Ruggero Deodato and Umberto Lenzi. The resourcefulness displayed in Corman's film, such as its innovative set designs and special effects, resonated in the Cannibal Cycle, where filmmakers often resorted to practical effects and location shooting to convey authenticity and immediacy. The rawness of these films, much like Corman's, was not seen as a deficiency, but as an aesthetic choice that heightened the sense of reality and impact. Corman's work also indirectly influenced the narrative structure of the Italian Cannibal Cycle, where the theme of man versus nature played out starkly. Little Shop of Horrors presented nature, the plant, as a formidable antagonist, capable of overwhelming and corrupting humanity. This portrayal of nature as an inscrutable and ultimately dominant force reflected in the Cannibal Cycle, where the jungle and its inhabitants often turn the tables on the outside invaders seeking to exploit. These films posited a critique of colonialism and anthropocentrism, with the jungle serving as a symbol of untamed earth, reclaiming its power against technological and cultural encroachments. Additionally, the idea of transgressing moral boundaries, so vividly depicted in Little Shop of Horrors, carried over into the Italian Cannibal Cycle, albeit in more explicit forms. Corman's film danced around the moral implications of murder and consumption, themes deepened by the Italian films which directly addressed taboo topics like cannibalism and survival ethics. The psychological horror associated with these acts was a continuation of the internal struggle first hinted at in Corman's narrative, evolving into a full-blown examination of humanity's darker capabilities when stripped of societal norms. Roger Corman, often regarded as the godfather of independent horror cinema, left behind a legacy that transcends the boundaries of traditional filmmaking. Little Shop of Horrors served as a precursor not only in its thematic depth, but also in its daring nature to explore uncharted territories in horror storytelling. The film's influence on subsequent horror cycles, including the audacious and controversial Italian Cannibal Cycle, underscores the interconnectedness of cinematic artistry. By weaving satire with horror and challenging the audience's sensibilities, Corman's work has continued to inspire, proving that even the simplest productions can echo through the annals of film history, impacting genres and filmmakers who appear, on the surface, to share little in common.